Hello.
And welcome to the Martini Scale, where we talk movies over martinis.
And provide our perspective on what is and isn't worth watching.
We are three friends who all love film, so the goal with the show isn't to critique every detail, but to give you an honest perspective of what our experience was like when watching something.
And perhaps, more importantly, how drunk you need to be to enjoy it.
I'm Sean.
I'm Natalie.
And I'm Lena.
And we have a special guest today.
We do. Who are you?
Hi, everybody. I'm Hannah. I work in production, but I'm really excited to be on for the episode today because I am a huge horror fan, and I can't wait to talk about horror with everybody else here.
Oh my gosh, so that brings us to what we're discussing in this episode today. Natalie, tell us what we're doing in this special...
So we're trying something new
it's right
here.
up your alley, I feel like.
We're trying something new. I think generally we're all fans of horror. I wouldn't say... Horror, not horrors.
Not horrors. Horror.
Well, some people might like horrors.
Lena, it's another podcast.
Well, I'm just in that category, so, you know.
Oh, shit.
I hope you guys like me.
We like horror genre films. I feel like we're all fans. I wanted to bring in more of an expert in this field, too, to do this.
Expert today.
I feel like she's more of an expert
young
than us.
expert.
Young expert, great.
Okay.
A millennial expert, shall we say?
Ooh, do you want to be called millennial?
I think she's fine with that.
I feel like it has a negative connotation.
I think it does,
I'm not super thrilled about it.
But it's an accurate...
Is that like the C word?
But that's an accurate portrayal of your age range, correct?
Yes, I am a baby.
Okay, great.
Well, technically, you're a millennial.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
Agree to disagree.
We've decided that we're all
I think there's a
millennials for
year
the sake of the
range.
podcast, Lena. We're all young in our late 20s, early 30s.
I'm not. I like to be old. Because
Okay.
then I can complain
Old
about
soul.
shit.
So we're going to do a double feature episode today. We're going to talk about two movies, not as a face-off like we did with Bird Box and A Quiet Place, because these movies aren't related to one another, but they are the horror movies that were both released in February. We wanted to make sure that we gave them enough time to talk about both of them, but maybe not dedicate two separate episodes for them. So the first half, we're going to start with The Prodigy. Second half of the episode, we'll talk about Happy Death Day to You.
Which I actually can't wait to dive into this because I don't necessarily classify Happy Death Day to You as a horror film, but we can talk about that.
We'll get into that.
Okay.
We'll get into that.
Can't wait to do that.
So we can start with Prodigy.
So guys, it's time for our review of the week.
Ooh.
Are we excited?
So excited.
Before I read the review this week, I do want to say that there's someone out there, I'm guessing you're probably not listening to this episode, but you gave us a 1-star review.
Who are you?
And
we would like to win you over.
I actually don't give a fuck about that. What I care about...
no.
Because you know what? Here's the thing.
You know what? Because, they're not going to listen again.
You were taught, like I was taught in my life, like if you can't say something nice, don't say anything at all. And this person chose to not say anything nice, but also not say anything at all.
Well, I feel like if he gave us a 1-star, then we clearly have offended him in some way.
No, but here's the thing,
Her,
though.
him,
We
or
know
her.
if it, yeah.
Here's the
Him
thing,
or
though. It could have
her.
been a her, but I wanted to actually read the 1-star review. Like, I wish that you
Oh,
would
they
have...
actually wrote it?
No,
they didn't.
They didn't. And I wish they had, because I would have loved to have read their 1-star review.
We think it's our friend Scott.
Yeah, Scott, you
Is
know
he-
who you are.
Is he bitter about something? Why would he leave
I
1-star
think that
review?
he's not on the podcast.
Well, he's welcome to come on as a
Well,
guest.
he did not like it. I talked to him this weekend, and he was like, I listened, and it was not good. And I said, oh, you're not my friend.
Ouch.
Just
What
kidding.
did he have feedback about it? Maybe he's the 1-star review. What did he say?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Well, he only listened to one of our first 3 episodes. Which
Where the sound's
we all
not great,
know
yeah.
Yeah.
the sound was horrible on that. So I encouraged him to listen
To
again.
revisit.
But I don't know if he has or will.
That's fair. Well, we could pretend he's the 1-star review then.
yeah.
I think we should talk about it like it is him.
I don't think a
Yeah.
friend should leave a 1-star review, though.
Yeah, he'd do that.
Is he our friend?
Would he?
Yes.
Oh my god!
He is.
You should tell him to listen to this episode because I'm sure his
Then
ego
that's
would
why
like
I'm
that we're
saying
talking
this,
about him.
so he'll listen to it.
So our review this week comes from Tortor444, and I feel like we know who this is. It's your friend Tori.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming because have I ever met her?
I don't think
She
so.
loves
I know of
She
her.
loves this podcast. She
I
will
just-
text us constantly
Really?
with her
She's
like
like-
notes and stuff. It's so cute.
Then I'm so excited. That
It's
we're
super
reading
cute
her
because
thing.
it's literally like pages of notes and comments.
love it. Is it
and
constructive feedback?
questions.
No, it's like she's a part of the podcast,
Yeah.
and she's giving her like she has additional questions.
Oh my God, can we
She's
bring her on
giving
as a
her
guest?
thoughts. I would love
I would
to.
love to.
I would love to. Like, let's
Yeah.
fly her in. Let's,
Oh my gosh,
first class.
First class.
Yeah,
we
let's
will.
do
would love it.
Okay, we'll pay for your Uber.
It has to be a very super cute movie.
Yeah.
Well,
She's,
We'll find something.
Yeah,
I would even say let's let her pick the movie.
Oh, good idea.
Ooh.
If she's a fan of the
Tori,
show.
you're out there. Pick the movie. Let us know.
Anyone that listens to this show, I want to accommodate you as much as possible. So whatever you want. So her review is hell yes, 5 stars. Fuck yeah. This podcast is hilarious and amazing. You don't always get both of those, so this is good. Not only are these 3 very knowledgeable about the movie industry, but they also aren't afraid to say what the rest of us are thinking. Lena, Natalie, and Sean all balance each other out perfectly, and their incorporation of vodka just accentuates their personalities. They make me want to watch more movies. Love the Martini Scale.
That's so cute.
Thank you, Tortor.
I love it, Tori.
We appreciate you. All right, so there will be spoilers in this episode, so if you haven't seen either of these films yet, it's not our problem. Figure it out before you listen to the rest of the show. Lena, do you want to tell us about this, where they can follow us on social media?
Yes. If you're on the Twitter, we're the Martini Scale. If you are a millennial, we're on the Instagram.
Yes.
If you are an old person, we're on the Facebook.
Oh, look at that. We've got all the bases covered. And I'm guessing Scott is not following us on any of our social
Probably
channels.
not.
I'm going to guess no.
Okay, that's fair. Natalie, can you tell us what we're drinking today? Because this martini is
I've already sucked half of it down.
tartly delicious.
Tartly delicious. So
I took the leaf out, by the way, because I don't like leaves in
I
my
don't.
food. But
Remember when he called you a rosemary pine last time?
yes.
One of the
Yes.
times before.
dude, it looks like a pine tree. It was okay.
So this martini, I was really trying to find like a red martini that would be like
Blood.
look bloody and like really fun.
Yeah, I
And
wanted it to be a little more bloody.
yeah, that didn't really work out here. So now we're just with a mixed berry and mint martini.
It's delicious.
I had a name for the martini as I was looking up recipes.
Wasn't
it's
it a
supposed to be
wild
a
berry?
bloodthirsty martini. This is not
Ooh.
what that is.
Bloodthirsty.
So maybe on another horror movie podcast, I will actually get a recipe that is a little bit more red than this.
I want it to have like that red corn syrup.
Yeah, I was going to say, this
Yeah,
is like a
drippy.
pinkish more than a red.
I think I'm gonna have to come up with something else. So
Okay, that's fair.
it was intended. It truly was. I put a lot of effort into trying to get this
Oh wait,
red.
don't they
and it
have
did
that
not.
vampire blood vodka? Wasn't there something we had like that before?
I have never purchased anything like that, but I
we
would.
didn't. I think someone gave it to us.
I don't
at
know
one
that I
point.
want to drink that ever in my
It
body.
was just like a red vodka.
Okay, that's fair.
Interesting. Well,
Anyways.
next time I'll hit it out. I mean, it tastes good. I
it's
like
delicious.
it. But it's just not. And I muddled the raspberries and blueberries in there
She
because I muddled.
Okay.
Because I was hoping
She
would.
brought a full bar.
Yeah, I was hoping that would bleed some of the color into the vodka as well.
Interesting.
And it did not.
Well, did you muddle the blueberries?
I did blueberries,
But that makes
and
it
raspberries.
purple. You should just muddle the red stuff.
Okay, the
Okay.
drink isn't purple. It's
No,
still
I think
pink.
we've talked about this long enough today.
Sean is over it.
Sean's over it. So I'm going to say we're going to do this differently than, to Natalie's point, than we did like the Bird Box Quiet Place episode, because in that one we actually like went back and forth between films. In this one, we're going to do like one movie first, and then we're going to do the second one. We're going to start with Happy Death Day.
Oh no, let's start with Prodigy.
Okay, so we're going to start with the Prodigy.
Perfect.
And if you came for Happy Death Day, then maybe fast forward like 20 minutes into the podcast. That way you don't have to listen to this. But we'd love it if you stayed for the entire
Yeah,
episode.
stay for the whole thing.
Cool. The Prodigy. So, The Prodigy, where to begin? It's a 2019 horror film directed by Nicholas McCarthy, and it stars Taylor Schilling, Jackson Robert Scott. There's more people, but you probably don't know who they are. The plot centers around a child whose disturbing behavior signals that they are an evil, possibly supernatural force, possessed him.
Yeah, the force possessed him.
Okay. Forcing his parents to investigate whether sinister forces are involved. The film was released in the U.S. on February 8th by Orion Pictures, which I just want to say for a second, like, I haven't seen an Orion picture in
Yeah,
like
they're revamping that.
since the 90s. Okay, cool. At the time of this recording, it has grossed over $12 million against a $6 million budget, which is kind of cool because that means that they left it open for a sequel. There's going to be a sequel. And it's received mixed reviews from critics who praised the performances but criticized the story. I'm excited
That
to
should
dive
be
in.
backwards, but
Totally
anyways.
backwards.
Okay. Natalie, do you have any trivia for us about this movie?
I do. It's not a ton of trivia. I just kind of was looking up the writer, Jeff Bueller. He doesn't have a ton of credits before this movie. Bueller.
I had to do that, sorry.
He only has one feature before this, which is The Midnight Meat Train.
I'm sorry, what was that movie called?
Midnight Meat
Meat
Train, and I
Train.
actually have a very specific memory of watching.
Is that a gay
Who's in
porn?
Midnight Meat
No, it's
Train?
not. It's it takes place on, I think, the New York subway. I never
who's
got to
in it?
see it because I was too young. But I remember watching.
You were too young. It was like
Yeah.
last year.
No.
When did it come out?
Oh, I was like
She's like, it came out in 2007.
Oh my god, my
I
mommy
feel like
wouldn't let me watch it.
I think it was like 2008 or 2009.
Yeah, it probably was about that. I am much, much younger than everybody else.
Oh, thank you for the reminder of that.
But now I can't remember what movie I was watching, but Midnight Meat Train, the trailer.
I'm never not going to laugh when I hear that.
The trailer was before like every horror movie that I got from Blockbuster that year. It was great.
So you know what Blockbuster is, but the movie's old for you. That's weird. Because I feel like Blockbuster like is such a distant memory from me. So like...
We used to go, my mom would take us to
She's
Blockbuster
like, I was
every Friday.
4.
I was not 4, I was in 2nd grade.
Oh my
She's like, I was 7. Fuck you, I was 7, not 4. Okay.
I was in 2nd grade. I was 5.
Anyways, so this guy, that's been his only feature.
Okay.
And to me,
But do we say who's in Midnight Meat Train?
I've never heard of this film.
is it Jason Statham?
Isn't it Bradley Cooper?
Shut
I
the
don't
fuck
think
up.
he's in that.
No.
He
Who
would
am I
never do a
thinking?
movie
There's
called
who's
Midnight
in
Meat
it?
Train.
I don't know, I'm trying to figure it out.
It's the guy that was in Gone in 60 Seconds. He plays like one of the, like, he steals the cars with the snakes. Is Bradley Cooper in it?
It was
I
Bradley
am
Cooper.
right. Guys, I'm telling
my
you right
God.
now, do not think that I don't know who's in movies that I have.
So there's a helicopter
Damn.
flying overhead. It could be Bradley Cooper arriving to the Oscars because we're
Possibly.
recording this on Oscar Day.
It's on my shirt.
I do want to
damn.
say that
Who's the other guy in it?
It's Vinnie Jones, Bradley
Vinnie
Cooper,
Jo-
Vinnie Jones was in
Leslie
Gone in
Bibb,
60 Seconds, right?
Leslie Bibb, and Brooke Shields.
Brooke.
Interesting.
Leslie Bibb.
Do you know who
Bradley
Brooke Shields
Cooper.
is? Okay, good.
So Vinnie Jones plays like the killer, and he's got this massive, like, not like, is it like a big cleaver, like a Thor type hammer cleaver thing that he's like,
I guess it's
cleaver's not the right, like a meat
No.
tenderizer,
Yeah,
a large
yes.
meat tenderizer.
Yes.
What's
the
the
meat
difference between a tenderizer and a cleaver?
A cleaver is a
Midnight
knife.
Meat Train.
I mean, that does make sense.
A tenderizer is like that big hammer thing that you hit meat with.
To make it more
Yeah,
tender.
but it's
Makes
like
meat
it's like
soft.
beveled. Oh, is that a word? Beveled? It's beveled. Is that the word?
That is a word, but
Maybe not for that. But it's got like dips and cones and right.
I gotta know,
I
what is
don't
it
eat
like
meat.
to
I
watch
don't know,
this
guys.
happen? What is it like to watch this happen live? Like, how is this for you?
We have an audience tonight.
we have an audience, and she's drunk, and it's great.
I still haven't finished the trivia.
It's we need to
yeah.
move this
Okay.
along.
I just
So
like
any-
to point out that I am right.
Yes.
and we're
once
drunk.
again,
We're all
yes.
drunk.
So his horror career is definitely horror career.
Need to enunciate that word.
Horror career. Horror is chugging along quite nicely post Midnight Meat
I
Train.
love that she wrote that in notes.
I did
that his
write it.
career is chugging along quite
You
nicely.
read that in your notes for real?
Get it? The meat train chugging along.
That's why I did it. See, I made you laugh. I'm happy.
bring the jokes,
My
people.
job is done. Anyways,
Wait, she wrote her notes on our shit.
I did. I did.
I
Okay.
know, it's a first.
So, anyways,
See, I
so
stopped looking
he
at her shit because she
his
wasn't-
movies coming up is Pet Cemetery, the redo of that, Jacob's Ladder, and Grudge. So he's redoing a lot of movies.
So his
he's gonna
shtick
be-
is like he redoes old movies from the 90s.
But this wasn't a redo of a movie,
know, that's
so
weird.
doing all of that.
I know.
So Pet Cemetery, I've seen the trailer. Not interested. I'll watch it, but it looks stupid.
I'll watch it.
Oh, I am so excited for
Really?
Pet Cemetery.
So have you seen the second trailer? Because there's a new trailer.
So the second trailer, I think, is maybe just a bad trailer. The first trailer was so good.
Oh, so I'm the opposite.
Oh, I know.
No, I think the second trailer was
The
better.
second
I
trailer.
feel like the second trailer was a
the
little
second
better for
trailer
me.
has sold me in ways that the first one did not.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, okay.
Jacob's Ladder was like a weird 80s, 90s movie, right?
Yeah.
I love that
So
movie, though.
one
It's
other
creepy.
thing
It
that
was very creepy.
I have as trivia in here. It's a quote from Taylor Schilling,
Oh, gosh.
who is the
I'm sure
lead
it
actress in
contains
this.
a ton of insight.
She says, as an actor, what I'm finding is that I really like extremes. I think that it's really fun to play with. And I thought that that was interesting because I've never seen her show any extreme or any range in any of her acting ever.
Hold on. Are people actually considering her an actor?
Yes.
Oh, I thought she was just like a person they put there.
I think
She's
by
blonde.
definition, if she appears in a film, she's.
I think they just put her there because
quantifies her
she's
as an
blonde.
I just think she is flat.
Can't
she's
wait
worse
to
than-
dive
Anyways.
in. So, on that note, Natalie, why don't you tell us what you enjoyed about this movie? What are your favorite scenes?
I do want to say, I don't
Oh.
think I had any drinks going into the movie, which is rare. I don't know. Maybe I did. My memory's gone. For the first 5 to 10 minutes of the movie, I thought it was Taylor Kitsch playing the husband. I was like so excited because I was like, wow, look at him getting more movie roles. Like I was pretty excited, and then I was like, wait, that doesn't look totally like him. Okay. Anybody else?
To me, and I was like,
did anybody else? I know Lena didn't feel that way, but did anybody else think that?
I thought he was Ted from Schitt's Creek for the first scene that he was in the movie.
Oh,
because
really?
He was out of focus. So I was like, oh my god, it's Ted.
So I feel maybe it was like that it was out of focus or something that was like, I was like, oh, good for Taylor. Not Taylor Schilling, but
Not Taylor
Kitsch.
Swift either.
Anyways, so I will say favorite scenes. We're going to talk
Thank you
about
for
this.
laughing at me, audience member. I caught you a little smirk.
So the favorite scenes, I do have to say this is a tough one. It's kind of hard to pinpoint any one scene because I didn't feel like anything was like perfect, stand out in my mind. And,
Spoiler alert, Natalie didn't like the film.
and I blame that on Taylor Schilling because she was in all of it.
I blame her for everything.
Yeah.
Okay.
The scene I like most, which I think is one of Sean's favorite scenes, she's not in it.
You peeked at my notes?
Yeah.
Damn it, Natalie. I'm not supposed to do that.
Hannah, do you have a favorite scene from this movie?
Yeah.
So I'd say not necessarily favorite scenes, but I had 2 scares that I really liked.
Okay.
So the first one was when Miles is sitting in his room with his back to the door, and Taylor Schilling walks in. She's like trying to get him to turn around to her, and then he does, and it's the murderer's face, which is not what I was expecting. Like I knew there was gonna be something there, but the fact that it's this old man's face on the child's body, like
I did
really
jump.
liked that.
I did jump. I liked
was
it.
good.
And then the other one was when Taylor Schilling was in the hallway and Miles was at the other end, and she does that like weird. She's like standing like arch. She like reaches out for him in like the most fucking bizarre way I've ever seen anybody reach for anything.
Because she's a great actor.
She's awful. I hate her. And then he runs to her, and it turns into the man.
Oh
jumping
yeah.
for
I
him. So I thought
loved
that was
that.
really cool.
Mm-hmm.
But
I loved that.
yeah.
Lena, favorite scenes?
Well, I think I didn't really like the movie, but I will say there were those. I liked how they included that weird murderer guy into this little kid, and I thought the little kid was great. So I think my favorite scene was when he was in that Halloween costume because he was a weird kid, but then.
Understand.
But then all of a sudden it was like the Halloween makeup where he like wiped off half the face, and then he like I know it was in the trailer, but like when he looked at himself, he like looked at himself like a different person. And I kind of felt like at that moment he changed. And I know like later on, spoiler alert, they said that at some point in your age or whatever, like you change and you can't go back. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I feel like maybe that was the moment because he looked at himself like that person was coming through. Mm-hmm. And I was like, ooh, but the kid's great. And he was so fantastic.
Yeah. Cinematically, that was a really cool
I loved it.
visual for us to see. Like, I thought it was really, like, the makeup was done well, which I was like, also, I shouldn't be thinking these things, but I was like, who did this kid's makeup? In real life, if I'm in this movie, did Taylor Schilling, the mom, do his makeup?
Right.
Because it was pretty... like
good.
Spectacular. Mm-hmm. I really liked it.
And I liked it. And it was like cut
like
off
skeleton,
just held in the mirror just for that 1 second to be like, he's not him anymore.
Yeah, I was like, did he go get his
and
makeup
it
done
changed
for Halloween?
me. And I was like, okay, there's something going on with
Did they
him.
have a makeup artist come to the house to do his makeup? I had a lot of questions.
So you're saying that that thought took you out of the actual film because you're thinking about...
I was thinking about a lot of
Okay.
that stuff.
Well,
it was
yes,
very
sure.
good. It was really, I liked it.
I that was for me where it changed, where I was like, okay, yeah, we know the kid's crazy, but like he's crazy in a specific way now.
Yeah. Sean?
I always combine my favorite scenes with what worked well. Are we not doing
That's
that
fine.
here?
No, that's
okay.
fine.
Yeah, sure.
Unlike you guys, I actually like this movie, and we can dive in a little bit more into why I felt that way. But in terms of favorite scenes, the scene with the therapist where like the kid threatens him, literally like, so the whole time I'm sitting there thinking like this kid is like clearly like what, 11 or 12, maybe 12 at the most, 10, I don't know. Like there's some pretty harsh things that this kid is saying in the scene, and I'm thinking like, was this a voiceover actor? Because like I hope to God that kid did not have to say these things in this scene to these people, because like it's pretty intense. And then the scene with the mom, or the victim and the mom rather, I thought that they did a really good job of like creating the tension of like, you don't know what the fuck's gonna happen because you think the kid's out in the car sleeping or whatever, and like you know that he's clearly not. Like I don't know. I think So I'm going to transition into things that worked well for me because I feel like I've heard a lot of people say that this film was like a really predictable horror film, and I completely disagree with that. Like, if you predicted that the mother was going to kill the woman at the end and that the mother would be killed by a random farmer, then like, bless you, because that was not on my radar at all. And I felt like the scary scenes were genuinely scary. And like, the one example I'll give is like the scene with the babysitter. Like, I was genuinely scared when she's like walking down the stairs. Like, I didn't know what the fuck was going to happen. And I thought that it was a really interesting choice for this director because he would lead you to a place that you felt was going to be predictable, i.e. when she's walking down the stairs, like what he's going to come and push her down, what something's going to happen, right? And that never happened. Like, there's another scene where like the mom's walking like downstairs into the living room and you think the kid's going to appear and he never does.
I would just say I'm glad there wasn't a nail on the stairs, like a quiet place.
It was a broken
and made
glass.
Me
It's
ruin it
close
for
to the
me.
same thing.
Okay, but
It's like, let me just remove the nail that we're all used to seeing, and we're going to put a broken glass there.
But my point is that something, you're expecting something quote unquote predictable to happen, but like that thing that your mind is thinking is going to happen doesn't actually come to fruition. And I think that there's something really interesting about that because that for me transcends the typical like horror predictability, because you're like, oh, she's going to go in the basement. Like, don't go in the basement. You know what I mean? Don't go into the dark place. But like, even though she's doing that, the thing that you think is going to happen never actually happens. And I actually found that really interesting because every horror movie's been done before. So the fact that they did something slightly different in this one.
But it does happen. She steps on the glass.
She steps on the glass, but you think that he's going to come and do something specific to her.
He did that to her.
But he already set that up for her, though. Like, it wasn't like he didn't appear and like push her down the stairs and try to kill her specifically.
And he was downstairs. You can see his silhouette in the window when the mom is walking downstairs.
But she also didn't like die, which would have been like
No,
the
she
super
didn't.
predictable.
That would have been great. The movie would have been over.
Oh, okay. So anything else that worked well for you ladies?
Well, just to backtrack on something that you said earlier.
Yeah.
So, the little kid was given a PG version of the script, so he didn't say any of the stuff in the therapist's office. They had a voice actor come in and do it.
I feel much better about that.
I feel better about that too.
Thanks for that trivia.
Thank you. Because some of the
That's so
things that he was
great.
saying to that therapist, I was like, I would
Yeah.
not feel comfortable as an actor saying those words. I
How
can't
did
imagine.
How did they get his lips to move then?
He
if he's
didn't
not
though.
saying
They cut
anything?
away from him. If you paid attention, and I was paying attention to that because I was
didn't pay
like,
attention
"There's
enough.
no way this kid is going to say those things."
I was thinking the same thing too because I was like, oh God.
He just says
I
some
don't
very
know
like
what parent would
sexually.
allow that.
Right. That's what I'm thinking. Like, if I was the parent of that kid, I would not want him to even know these words existed, let
you,
alone
Hannah.
speak
That
them
was-
on film.
Because I feel like
Yeah.
we were all kind of thinking that.
Cool.
Interesting. I thought it, but I was
But
like,
not
well, somebody's letting their kid do this.
They cut away from his face when they were focusing more on the therapist when he was saying
Yeah.
those things, and they were him. And that's the only way that scene worked, because if he was
Interesting.
actually speaking those things, that would have been really uncomfortable with that.
Okay. I will say things that I thought worked well. I will say I generally liked the idea of the movie. I really did. I thought it felt fresh and new, this concept of like reincarnation and kind of exploring the mythology behind it. I would like to learn a little bit. I wish they had shown a little bit more about like the backstory and the mythology of that and how they like locate their host body, because I felt like that was a little bit too easy, that it's like, oh, he died and then this kid was born right
He was
after. I don't know.
reincarnated, though. Like, that's what.
Yeah, I guess I wanted
was
to,
enough for me.
I wanted to see more of like when this has happened, because they go back to one story.
Because also too clearly, well, maybe not clearly, but like I felt like he was in the same state or in the same, because how she went and found this lady who escaped from the guy, I don't feel like she lived in another state. They were like in the same area.
Yeah. I don't know,
For
I
her
guess
to find him
when
or
they
her, sorry.
start talking about reincarnation, they go to see like the therapist and like the specialty people in this area. I think they talk about another previous case, but they don't really get into like how that started for that kid and how they kind of discover that reincarnation is a thing that they should be aware
I
of.
disagree
and
with
paying
you.
attention.
I felt like the way that they introduced the therapist, that had he was well versed enough in what was going on to be able to understand what was going on. That was enough for me. Like, I didn't need them to dive in even deeper into that, because it felt to me like he knew what was going on.
Okay.
I would have liked to have known how he knew that though.
I think it's just it's an interesting world that I don't
Yeah.
feel like I've really seen that often. So like if you're building a franchise or kind of genres of like subgenre of horror, I think that could have
And
been
that's
really
why I get
fun
where
to
it
kind of
wasn't predictable in the sense, because I don't have a lot of reincarnation, like horror stuff that comes to mind.
Yeah,
No
I
reincarnation experience in your life.
I guess I
No,
want to know. I know
not
what
for-
I want to know
for
what
me
the rules of this
Right,
world
but like,
are.
I want to know like what led you to now this is the expert that we listen to instead of the expert that like knows how to talk to ghosts. You know, like it's always that.
That's
where,
fair.
like,
I just felt like the introduction between like the first therapist and then the guy that knew everything or understood things a bit more clearly. I felt like that was enough of a transition for me to be like, oh, he's an expert in this field.
well, because I think she was a child therapist just in general.
But she knew
and-
this guy who happened to have a background in
Right,
reincarnation.
but so then she passed it on to this
Which
guy. But then
that's
it's
fine.
like, and that's
I don't
fine.
need an introduction as to where he
No.
went to college and got his
No.
degree from. I
But,
want to
like,
know more
the
about the
story.
rules of this
The
world.
mythology of it
Yes,
And
yeah.
how he knows.
Because I do find that world interesting.
Yeah.
Let's explore it a little bit more.
That's
Let's
fair.
get away from Taylor Schilling as
Yeah.
much as possible.
Oh God, just
Okay, anything else that worked well
Fire
for you,
her.
ladies?
Oh, and the kid. He is fucking.
Oh yeah, I love that kid.
He is.
Yeah.
you know he's
so
the kid.
talented.
He's Georgie.
I did not
I didn't know
realize
that
that.
either. I did after
What?
the fact. It made sense, but that scene in it where he's in the garage or the basement at the like in the middle of the movie where he does that like, oh my God,
I hate that scene, but
scary as
okay,
shit.
good.
And
I
the-
thought that kid was he's so cute too. He's like a handsome little
I
man.
know,
When his
he's
hair was
so
slicked
great.
back, I was like,
And that little like mole on his face. or
He's
a freckle or
adorable.
something.
but
He's so
scary
cute.
and not like creepy enough though to like pull
I
off. The,
hate creepy kid movies. So I mean,
Yeah.
I wasn't.
I just don't
why
like
about
kids
that.
in general. So like creepy
Pet
kids.
Cemetery. I'm like, oh, geez.
I know. More. Let's let the kids be creepy.
All right.
We're
Do we
over
want to
it.
move on to what did not work?
Oh yeah, we got a long list of that.
I don't
Mine's
think we
really
do.
short.
I think it's 2 words. Taylor Schilling.
Oh, interesting. You know, it's funny. I have heard my Who Stood Out, Who Should We Be Watching? Okay.
Well, you'll be the only one watching.
Hannah, go ahead.
I mean, just to bounce off the Taylor Schilling thing, I don't.
guys really
I mean,
don't
we
like
all. I think we all hate her, but in the very beginning when she's like in labor and going through the whole birth process, like I've never. Generally, like, there's more acting that's done there where, like, people are like, oh my God, I'm in pain. And she's just, like, chill. And she gets excited about hearing the baby's heartbeat, like she's hearing it for the first time. I'm just like,
notice that.
I was like, are you actually in labor? Like, what is happening?
Like, if you,
Or is this an ultrasound?
I know. It's like if you never had a fucking sonogram before this, it's so weird. I totally clocked that too. Okay, what else did you not think worked well?
We can go around to somebody else while I think more about it because trying to narrow down the list and
like either.
Well, once we get to Sean, he'll have a list of what.
I'll go because my list is actually really short. In fact, it's kind of ironic. The only thing I didn't like about the movie was the dog. The way that they like killed off the dog and like that you had to like I am not somebody like
I will say that was predictable.
well, it was predictable once you knew that you could see the dog throughout the movie, like having weird reactions to him, and so you're like, okay, well, the kid's obviously gonna kill the dog. But for me, I am not a person that ever like closes my eyes or has to like cover my eyes for something in a movie. I'm like, no, just fucking watch it. I could not when the reveal of the dog being dead came, I was like, there's no. I had this thing with dogs. I can't see dead animals. I don't want to see a dog's purpose, a dog's whatever those things are. Like I don't want to watch dogs die. It's not my thing. So when I saw that we're getting toward like the reveal of the dead dog, I was like, no, this is
Well, you're talking to one of the biggest animal
Same.
people ever.
no. We both are though. I feel like.
But to me, I was like, it was so predictable that this dog is going to die. I don't care
But
about.
did
seeing
you
what they
want to
did to it.
see the dead dog though?
It wasn't. Its feet were cut off.
I don't know. I
hands.
didn't see it. I covered my eyes.
So
Also,
it's not like it was slit from like throat to balls.
Oh, God.
It had its feet cut off. It's
okay,
like
Lena, there's children listening to this
Okay,
podcast. There's not children listening to this
I'm
podcast.
just saying. The Revenant, when the fucking bear and he's inside of the thing, and like that's a
yeah.
whole. I can't watch any of
He's
that.
inside of the horse.
The horse, yes. Sorry,
Oh,
yes,
okay.
the horse.
I don't remember
can't
that
do
movie.
that. That I can't do.
Also, the dad character just annoyed me in the sense that like I actually never felt like he liked the kid anyway. So it was like
I know, he was so quick to turn on the kid.
Like immediately, like after the kid's born, he's like, I don't like you, and it's like,
And
okay, cool. I
also
don't either.
just left them in the house. He was like, I feel uncomfortable with this kid.
Totally.
Good luck.
So I'm gonna
And
leave you with
fucking
my
took
wife.
off.
No,
I feel
totally.
like that was the script. They just threw that guy away because they
Yeah.
wanted Taylor to be the star, and it's like, I'm sorry, but this guy's hot. I want him to be the star.
I wanted him to be in the movie more too. And then when he dies at the end, I'm like, oh, that was the only good thing.
Yeah. I mean, I think generally what I feel like didn't work well, obviously, is Taylor Schilling. The idea
She's the worst.
When I left the theater, I honestly thought, okay, this is what happens when you have an interesting idea, a mediocre script, and a terrible actress. Like, this is like, you have a script that maybe isn't great, but maybe if you got really good actors, they could elevate it. They could sell those things. And
I would even say we saw a trailer for something yesterday, and we were like, why are they reviving this person?
What?
And I will say, I would rather have seen her do this
Yaya
than
Rona.
Taylor.
What trailer did you see, Lena?
The
Curse of La
La Llorona.
with Linda
stupid.
Cardellini.
Yeah.
I would have
like so
much
dumb.
rather have seen her.
She's
do
a better
this.
actress than Taylor.
She is a
for
better
sure.
actress.
Yeah.
She's not my favorite actress, but Taylor's the worst.
Yeah, it's just
Everything she does
moments
is
where
the
it's like there's so much that happens with Taylor and this character and the range she needs to feel and express as an actor, and I never felt any different. Like, just her being scared and awkward by him felt uncomfortable, and like I don't know. It's just like,
Remember those days of horrible Rosamund Pike?
Oh, I like Rosamund Pike.
Oh yeah,
She's
I like
better
her
now.
until Gone Girl. Everything
Yeah.
before that, she
I didn't
was
mind her in that.
very Taylor,
so flat.
boring. Just
Like, give me a movie. What movie?
Fracture.
Oh, I don't even remember her in that
Oh
movie.
my god.
Maybe that's
Good
why.
movie.
Well, that's why.
Yeah.
Okay.
She was horrible.
So I'm just gonna say, like, this is. I have this in a note for
Jack
later.
Reacher, right?
Oh, she was in Jack Reacher. Yeah, I remember that was the Sundance or Skydance days.
Yeah.
Okay. We do not speak of Voldemort. I didn't mind Taylor Schilling. Like, I don't think I found her as annoying as you guys did. I'm indifferent to her. Like, I've seen a few episodes of Orange is the New Black. I think that she's what she is. Like, you know what you're getting when you watch her on screen, regardless of whether it's a film, horror, comedy, drama, whatever. Like, she's the personality that they're
but
having.
if you're not adding anything, like, why are you even in this industry? No
But
one
I would
wants
argue
to
that a
see
movie
you.
like this,
give
though-
someone else a chance.
And Natalie, you can speak better to this than I can, but like a movie like this, I don't know that you're looking for like someone to stand out. Like, in a horror movie, are you looking for like an actor to like show up in a way that you're like, oh my god, that performance? Are you looking
Yes,
for like?
I hope
Really?
everybody is casting their films to have an actor that is a decent actor and is going
'Cause
to
I feel
do a
like
good job.
The story is what you're trying to have stand out. So like
But,
when I look,
but if they
you need an
can't-
actor to
yeah,
tell
if
that
they can't
story.
convey the story appropriately, you've got a mom who is like so in love and happy to be a mom and loves her kid. It's a single kid. They seem a little bit older, and they never had any other kids. Maybe there was difficulty in getting pregnant, having additional kids. So, like, I want to see how much fucking love there was for this kid turn into this. You think your kid might murder you one day, and your husband is just going to fucking abandon you in this house. Like, there's so much range to play with there, and I never felt that from her.
that's fair.
It's weird. 'Cause I just felt in my head when you were describing. I was like, "Is it weird that I would like Leslie Bibb to be cast in this?"
I want Leslie Bibb to be cast in every
I think she would have
female
been
horror movie.
so
Yeah.
much more.
I think
I don't know
there's
who
so
that is. Who's Leslie Bibb? I'm sorry.
Leslie Bibb was in Trick or Treat, one of my favorite movies,
I don't know if I saw that.
She was just in,
and she's married to Sam Rockwell.
She's
Yeah.
Well,
Do you
they are.
have
They're
a? Don't you
together
have a
age.
trick or treat tattoo?
Yes, I
Do we
do.
want to talk about this? Is this the good time to talk about it?
Oh, we can. There's not really a big story to it. Just that I was at a house party, one of my friend's bands was playing, and then I walk into one of the rooms, and there's this guy set up with like a tattoo stand.
Shut up. That's like my dream. That's the only way I'm ever going to get a tattoo. I have to be like at a party. Someone's like, here you go. Like, I can't go to a tattoo
Yeah,
parlor.
I've never even known this was a possibility.
Yeah,
Apparently,
neither.
it's a big thing in LA where you go to house
They do
parties.
this at parties now.
Yeah.
Really?
Well, they do that also like when you go and have like I don't know, you can go to a store and they'll have like different people around them where they do like massages or spa
Yeah.
thing. Now it's like a tattoo person or
I've
a
heard of
piercing.
like Botox parties.
no,
but no.
well, no, they do.
Natalie, that's more our age.
they
demographic.
do
It's like-
tattoos and they do piercings.
by the way,
So, like,
my,
you can go-
my friend's ex-boyfriend just tattooed Lady Gaga.
Oh, really?
Super weird.
We're also getting tattooed by him in 3 weeks.
Are you really? Cool. Good times. Both of you?
Yes.
Oh, did I tell you guys this already?
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, you did.
Oh, over
We
text.
talked about this.
Yeah. got
So
it.
it was my friend Brianna, and you're like, you talk about her every so.
Well, because
this
you have
is,
3 Briannas.
But this is a different Brianna.
Okay,
it's
but
weird.
I
okay.
didn't know that at the time.
I did not realize you got that at a house party.
Yeah, I got it.
It's
at a
pretty
house
well
party.
done.
It's cool.
Yeah, I mean, like for what it is, it's it didn't heal great, and the lines aren't very straight.
Oh, is that like the
but-
film logo or something?
No, it's so the little boy Sam in the movie carries around this lollipop.
Okay. I never saw it. And I'm open to seeing it. Like, I'm sure I'd love it. Okay.
It's so fun.
Let's move on to Martini Scores because we have a whole nother movie to get through, guys.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So, Natalie, why don't
yeah.
you tell us what the Martini Scale is? Lena, did you want to interject? You seem like you're okay.
No. Okay. Okay. So four martinis. I did not enjoy. It was hard because it's like I didn't have a lot of expectations going into it. And as I started watching the movie, I was like, oh, okay, this is a fun idea. And then it just really never, it doesn't take a lot to, there's so many good actors out there. And it's really unfortunate that here a name, and I say that with air quotes, is more important than actually getting a good actor that can do the role. I think the name of Taylor Schilling is the thing that they thought could sell the movie, sell foreign, whatever, because she's a part of Orange is the New Black. And I think that just, had anybody else been in the role that was a little bit of a better actor, I think it could have been a much better movie.
So Natalie didn't like it. I think it's interesting that you didn't have any expectations going in because I told you how good it was.
I know, but I don't believe you.
We didn't believe you.
Okay. On that note, Lena.
Okay, I'm going to give it a 4 because, yeah, it didn't do anything. But I want to give Taylor a 5.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, she can be a 10. That was horrible. She's horrible.
Okay, well.
But I'm a 4 for the movie because I do like the kid. I do like the story, where they were going. I don't think they fulfilled the story as much as they could have.
Okay.
But it was interesting because it was different.
Okay, I'm going to let our guest go last. I'm going to say my score is actually a 2. Because I don't think you can have that many expectations for a movie like this. I think your expectations were way too high for a movie called The Prodigy that's about a little kid that kills people. Like, it's a horror movie.
But what was he a prodigy of?
He was just really smart.
Yeah, he was obviously brilliant, but that's because he was reincarnated from some crazy serial killer in the past. So yeah, I don't have expectations that high for a movie like this, and it's literally my bar is like, am I scared enough? Like, do you scare me 3 or 4 times in this movie? And is there a through line of suspense? Cool, you got me. On that note, Hannah, please tell us your Martini score.
So I'm actually giving the middle of everybody. I would give it a 3.
Okay.
I thought the reincarnation aspect was fun. Like, it wasn't just like a demon possessing a child again. That said, I did not enjoy the movie that much. Like, I would never see it again. So yeah, 3. So drunker the better.
So I feel like, not that I want to make you change your score, but I feel like if you have no intention to see this movie again, if it were on, you would not watch it again. And you want to be drunk.
So I will watch garbage movies just to watch them, and a lot of times I'll turn on like an objectively terrible horror movie in the background while I'm doing other things, where like to fall asleep to.
You will fall asleep to a horror movie? We need to go deeper into this because that's fucking creepy. I can't do that.
But if they're good, yeah.
A horror movie while you're falling asleep?
Yeah.
Do you have nightmares after?
No.
Oh, I would.
I feel like nightmares are just a continuation of the movie, and I love them.
Okay, Natalie's fucking weird. All right, so let's move on to Happy Death Day to You. I'm going to give you the brief synopsis. So it's an American science fiction comedy slasher film written and directed by Christopher Landon. It stars Jessica Roth, Israel Broussard, Phi Vu, Rachel Matthews, and Saraz Sharma. Oh, and Ruby Modine. And again, it follows...
Matthew Modine's daughter.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that. So what's interesting about this one, though, is it's... I didn't realize the character's name was actually really Tree. Like Tree. Interesting. She finds herself reliving the same day repeatedly after being hunted and killed by a masked assailant. Only now her friends are also targets. The film is a sequel to 2017's Happy Death Day, with Jason Blum again serving as producer through his Blumhouse Productions company. And this film was also released in February of 2019 by Universal Pictures, and it received mostly positive reviews from critics, who praised Roth's performance, as well as the film's shift to a more sci-fi tone, although some noted it as derivative of the first film. Let's jump in. Natalie, do you have any trivia for us today?
Well, I think we didn't do this podcast when this original movie came out, Happy Death Day. So one thing I do want to say, just as a pat on my own back, is that...
Oh, shit. Here we go.
So One of the previous companies I worked at actually had the option on this script back in, I think, 2007, 2008.
The first one.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
And I read this, obviously, Lena and I were reading a lot of scripts then, a lot of submissions. And this was
one of our favorites.
by a long shot. This was my most favorite script I had ever read. And so I kind of always kept in touch with it because I always thought, at some point, if this doesn't get made, I want to option this movie and get it made. And then a couple of years ago, I saw Jason Blum had optioned it. I was like, God damn it.
Makes sense, though.
But at least I'll get to see the movie. Mm-hmm. So it was really exciting to finally see this kind of come, alive for me. So it was really exciting. So
that's cool.
A little bit of trivia.
Full disclosure, I still haven't seen the first one, actually.
What?
No, I didn't watch it. In fact, I tried to record it on my DVR a couple weeks ago.
I own it, so if you want it, I'll send it to you.
Yeah, I'd love to watch it. We'll get into this. I fucking love this movie. And I was like, Natalie talks about it all the time. Like, I remember you talking about the first one, like, even years ago, just like ad nauseum. I feel like you've talked about this movie a lot. And I never really had interest in it, to be honest with you. But watching this one, like, I have so many feelings about this movie. I can't wait to talk about it because I was so glad that you the only reason I went to see it is because you recommended it so highly.
You'll love the first one way more.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, interesting. Okay, cool. Let's dive in and talk about favorite scenes, what we liked. Hannah, do you want to go first?
Yeah. So one of my favorite scenes was when they do that whole montage of Tree killing herself to Hard Times by Paramore. Mm-hmm. Loved that. Especially when she goes into the mulcher.
That was
really fun.
so funny.
And then I also really loved, was the Danielle, the sorority president or whatever, when she has that guy in her room and then she makes that comment about, like, him being dumb as rocks. It was...
Rocks don't have brains.
They can't be dumb. She's like, so good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, so this was shot at University of New Orleans, or University of Loyola, New Orleans, which is where I went to school.
Oh.
So it's like really funny
that's
to
cool.
watch stuff happening.
You went to school there like last year.
No, not last year.
She graduated 3 years ago. Calm down.
Fair.
Never graduated.
I
Love
did
it.
not know that.
Yeah.
You don't need a degree in 2019. It's fine.
But yeah, so it's funny that they're like in the freshman dorms and walking around the quad, and like the building they come out of that's supposed to be the dorm building was where my world history class was.
Oh.
So it's fun to like watch stuff
That's
happening
really
in
fun.
New Orleans.
That's really
I love
fun.
that.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Natalie?
It was funny. I was thinking about that campus. I was like, what a beautiful campus. Like, I wonder where they shot this. And that's as far as my thoughts went. So,
Okay. Well,
you
now you
answered
know.
it without me having to do any research.
What were your favorite scenes, Natalie? What'd you like?
My favorite scenes, and this is like very spoilery, but I really loved the idea that they created these different dimensions and they brought her mom back in one of the dimensions. And so
Did her mom die in the first one?
she didn't die in the first one.
She'd been dead for a while.
She's been dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So, but you get to learn who Tree is and that she's kind of adapted or trying to adapt to this life without her mom. Right. So I think being able to kind of create, I've never seen that happen before, where it's you're creating this choice that this character is going to have to make and choosing these two worlds where that horrible life event that you've gone through, but you have mourned in some way and you've learned how to move on with life. It was really, really interesting. So I really liked that they did that.
Yep.
Because I was like, I don't know how somebody makes this choice. So I thought that was fantastic. And then I loved the idea that the first movie totally was pure horror comedy. And how they integrated the sci-fi elements into it was really, really fun. I really liked that. And I thought it was a really, like, it felt like a really seamless transition and a great answer to what did actually happen that caused her to be in this weird time loop, because that's never addressed in the first movie. It just kind of happens.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, it's interesting for me as someone that didn't see the first one to have like a specific feeling and opinion about this one. I will tell you that I already said I fucking love this movie. I can't even explain why. Like I loved the movie. But to your point, Natalie, the scenes specifically with the mom, like I was expecting going into this movie that it was going to be like a horror movie. And I was thinking kind of like Final Destination-y, like that's kind of like the theme that I kind of felt going in. I wasn't expecting to have like an emotional connection to this film. And like the theme with the mom, again, I hadn't seen the first one, so I didn't have any context, but the scenes with the mom, like I cried. Like there were literally moments in this movie where I was like sad, and I feel like so bought into like this relationship. And so I wasn't expecting like the heartfelt theme at all to this movie, and it was so fun to watch. And the whole time I honestly just felt like, God damn you, Natalie. Like you sold me on this movie in ways that like I was still like, whatever, it's gonna be whatever. But like I loved this movie.
Mm-hmm. I have a question for you. Do you feel like you felt lost or missed anything by not having seen the first one and seeing this movie?
Nope. And I wanted to talk about that because I felt like they had given me enough exposition with the first character that you're introduced to in the movie to understand like the context of the film and to understand like this is kind of what's going on right now.
So with Ryan, because it started with Ryan and having this Groundhog Day with him.
That set me up enough to understand like the context and like what I was going to be in for. And then when the Jessica Roth character came in, I did have enough context in the background to understand that like this was her movie, even like the first scene she appeared in, and that she had been the star of the first one. But I don't know, there was something about like once everything took off, like I felt like I was involved in a way that like I didn't even need to know there was a first one in the movie.
But it also, my favorite scene was when Danielle, she just walks up with her little bitchy self, and you think she's gonna go off on tree like she always does, and then she walks up and kisses Carter. It was like, I was shocked because I was like, holy fuck, why is she kissing him? And then they pan on Jessica, and it's like,
and you realize
she's
like
like,
an alternate
what
universe.
the fuck? And then I was like, oh, we are in another world. Like, and then it caught on to me like, okay, something else is happening. And then I really loved how they incorporated like the nerds, like, the Asian guy, the Indian guy, this like nerd girl with the cute hair, and like this science project that they're working on. And like, this is why she happened to the first movie, like why this happened where she kept going back and back and back. And I was like, okay, all of that totally worked for me. I get it. And I love how that incorporated into everything to give that second dimension of everything that now was happening. So
to go back to Natalie's question for a second, that was the one part that I did feel potentially, having not seen the first one, that I was missing some context with the peripheral characters. So like the sorority people and all that stuff.
I think they'll just give you I don't think you needed to have watched the first movie to see this movie and enjoy it. Obviously, you're an example of that. Yeah. I feel like it allows you to have a deeper appreciation and more of you're thankful that their other characters are getting more time. Like the fact that they really expanded Danielle's character was so much fun because she was kind of like a side character that we really only got to see a little bit of detail. But the fact how much they integrated
Ryan
her.
Too. Because Ryan was very much like that guy just opens the door and says something.
Now, I do have a question for you. Was she the lead guy who, like, I'm actually interested to, like, talk about him as an actor because he's, like, he's good.
He's controversial.
But he's, like, I don't know how to describe him, but, like.
I feel like Shaw doesn't know that.
No.
Were they together in the first one?
Yes.
They were?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I didn't necessarily understand that.
I think we'll have Hannah touch base on him a little bit later.
Hannah, please.
But Hannah, what did you think worked well? What did you like about it? And what were some of your favorite scenes?
So, I mean, the hard time scene, but also when Danielle does that, like, blind person bit, it was just so over the top and unexpected.
With the teacher or the principal?
Yeah.
It was fun.
I loved that.
I was laughing out loud a lot during that scene. It was really funny.
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much love anything that Danielle's in. Mm-hmm. I think she's so funny. Like, all the times they would meet in the cafeteria, and they're doing the like, back and... There was just, like, so many funny
and that
bits.
one time she had her shirt was so cut down low, and she's like, my head is in the middle here.
Yeah. And she called him Samosa. Anyways.
Okay. What did not work? Is there anything that you guys did not like? I will go first. My only complaint about this film is that it felt a tinge too long to me. Like,
I said the same thing.
I felt like you could have probably shaved like 20 minutes off of it and it would have been like the perfect movie.
Yeah, you get rid of that ending scene and then it's perfect.
I completely agree. I feel like it was too long. It kind of felt like it was going to end multiple times.
Yes.
There are movies that have multiple endings. So I didn't feel like as we're going through this, that it had multiple endings. It just like brought us to the peak of almost ending and then was like, oh, nope, we're not ending.
Like, I didn't need to be in the hospital again.
Well,
Yeah.
I think that I understand how they're trying to loop back and to like get into all those closing the dimensions and oh no, not closing it yet, blah blah blah. But then like the last like stupid wife thing, cut all of that out.
Yeah.
Cut all of the Gregory out, the professor.
I
mean, not all of it because like fine, I knew it was going to be this guy, but like it was too long.
I get that the professor was part of now instigating the kills versus the roommate Lori, which was the first movie. But I was like, fine, I'll buy into this. We're still having fun. As soon as the wife joined him and was like, oh yeah, baby, shoot her. It's
Like, we don't need another character right now.
Also, that's gross. Stop! Don't talk
And then
like that.
he shoots her, and what does he say, Lena?
I want a divorce.
It was awful. I'm like,
That's you. The only reason why you brought her in to say that was so that he could
He can have
shoot her and say, "I want a divorce."
it was awful. Like, I get having camp and having fun, but that's too much.
too
Agreed.
much.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Too much.
Hannah, finish your martini sip. It's fine. It's what the show's about.
You caught me right in the middle. Yeah, so I mean, it's really just the ending with the DARPA that I could have gone without, but it was very much that's
The ending
like
with the
obvious
what?
with DARPA, where the government agency comes in, they're like, we're gonna.
No,
Oh
it was
my
like, I
God.
didn't even know about this scene.
At the end, where the government agency comes in and they take Shirley or whatever the
Sissy.
Oh yeah, Sissy.
Sissy.
They take Sissy and they say that they want to use this technology, but they're like, we have to find somebody else to test this out on. And then they test it on Danielle.
What movie did you watch?
I don't
Wait,
remember this
was
scene.
this after the credits?
What are you talking about?
I don't remember this
Yeah,
scene.
it was after the credits.
Oh, we left. I did
didn't
not
see
see
it.
this.
I
We
didn't
didn't see any
either.
of that.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so
Yeah,
yeah,
that-
that happened.
Oh, yeah, I left too. I didn't even see it.
Yeah, I didn't know.
Spoiler
They were
alert.
pretty late.
I know.
I guess we're
and
gonna
I
have
was
to
like,
go
is
see
there
it
going to
again.
be something? And I was like, probably not.
Well, I think there always should be something. Oh shit.
Yeah. So DARPA comes and they take Sissy, and then the whole like science crew and tree go to the government facility, and the. Sorry, we have a peanut gallery here, which is distracting.
We should have just like brought her onto the episode. It could have been fun to do it with 4 people. It's fine.
So then DARPA takes them in, and they're like, we really want to use this technology. We're going to, like, figure out how to, do something with it. And then they go, well, we need someone to test this out on. So then the last scene of the movie is Danielle...
Post credits.
Yeah, last post-credit scene, sorry, is Danielle waking up, and she's now in the Groundhog Day loop.
I would love that movie. And I literally have a question
would
in here
love for
that was like,
Danielle.
if there's a third movie, what would you guys want it to be?
Oh my god, I
But
would
that
love it
answered
to
my
be
question.
from her perspective.
I actually...
Spurs.
We're making up words now. That's how many martinis in we are. It's good times. Can I ask a question, Natalie? Because
Lena's dying.
Lena's dead. Initially, we were not going to combine this episode with these 2 movies, and I really would like to know, because this movie I feel like was marketed as and was sold as a horror film.
Yeah.
But I don't necessarily find this to be a horror movie. So
I think it's because of all the kills.
but can we maybe? But can we talk more about
It's a sci-fi
that?
movie with horror elements. So there's
Okay.
a slasher, but the movie's not really about
But and
that.
like dramatic
it's about-
elements, like the stuff
Yeah,
with the
no,
mom
it's like-
feels
it's-
very dramatic to me.
And
Oh,
actually,
there
I
were a
could have done
couple
without
times
the stuff with the mom.
I mean,
What did you say?
I did.
I could have done without all the mom stuff.
I liked the mom stuff because I did get a little teary on
I
it because I was
totally
like,
cried.
oh.
I'm not gonna lie.
But
fucking
I
lost my shit.
love Tree's character. I
do
love
too.
Tree and I love Jessica Roth and like so. I liked it. It was a lot. It was a lot. I feel like they could cut out a lot of it.
Yeah,
Hannah,
was too
why
much.
didn't you like the mom stuff?
yeah. I feel like that added such heart.
Because that was a dimension, though. That was like a whole.
Yeah, but that was a whole. I
choice.
just feel like it kind of took away from what I wanted out of the movie, and also I didn't really love the actress that much, so I feel like she kind of took me out of the movie.
The mom.
Yeah.
Okay.
I kept
I love
looking at her.
Jessica
I
Roth.
kept looking at her teeth.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I was
Whoa.
like, oh, I don't like those caps.
Oh, that's the
Oh, and I'm
worst.
such a teeth person. I didn't even notice that. Really?
I thought about her teeth every time she was on scene. I don't know why, but
Let's talk about what stood out. Who should we be watching? Is there anybody?
I think we all agree Jessica Roth. She's
Yeah.
just so much fun. I think this role was like perfect for her. I really can't see anybody else doing this in the sort of way that she does
And I
it.
have a little trivia for Sean. Do you know
Oh, shit.
your favorite movie besides Call Me by Your Name?
You know what's funny? We got through. I don't know if
I
you
know,
guys
I
knew
was
this.
super excited about this.
We got through the
fact.
last episode without any mention of that film, and
Yeah.
then here you go.
No. I'm saying your favorite movie besides
I know,
that
but
movie,
it's-
which is what? What is that movie?
Uh-oh.
I mean, we talked about this in the rom com
Emma
episode,
Stone and
La La
right?
Land.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and
but
Jessica
it's between
Roth.
La La Land and Meet Joe Black. That's why I'm confused.
Okay.
Okay, well, La
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 Land. Jessica Roth is in
Hannah
that.
just rolled her eyes like,
Oh,
what
really?
the fuck?
Oh, is she one of the roommates?
She's one of the roommates that sings in the dress. She's in the green dress.
But you would never notice that because that
yes, you would
scene,
notice.
but
I
that
didn't
scene is
notice
so
that.
centrally
Yes, you would
focused on
notice
Emma Stone's character that I don't
I
feel
know,
like you would
but
ever
you
get
totally
that.
know.
Okay, I'm gonna
it's
go back and
her.
watch it.
When
When
Maybe
you
tonight.
see her face, you're like, you know.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And I just was like, oh, I'm going to point that out for Sean.
Thank
because
you.
know that he
I
loves
appreciate
that.
you.
I feel like as much as I want to see, I'm curious how Jessica Roth can do in other roles. I'm
Yeah, me
excited
too.
to explore that.
I
with
want her in everything.
Is she a newer
giving it
actress?
everything.
Like, is she
Kind
new to
of,
this?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, La La Land, that was her big
Was her first?
first.
Okay.
The other actor that really
Well, she was in things,
Okay.
and her name was Rothenberg. Sorry.
Natalie's like, it's my turn. It's my turn.
I got it.
The other thing that, like, the other person that really stood out to me was Sarah Sharna. Is that how you say his name?
Yeah, I think I know who you're talking
Sharna?
about. Okay.
He played Samar.
Okay.
And I just thought, like, he was so fun and captivating on screen. And I know I've seen him in other things, and he's been in, like, Life of Pi, and he's been in a lot of other
Oh,
stuff.
was he the lead in Life of Pi?
And
Interesting.
I'd really like
I
to
love
see him
him.
in a bigger role.
I like his facial features. I like the way I like everything that he does, and I think that him and that girl Dre, like they really like were so cute together. Like the way they like talked and like just the character.
So I have a similar note because I actually loved everybody in this movie. Like I thought the cast was like it was perfectly cast. And obviously I'm obsessed with Jessica Roth. I literally can't wait to see her in more stuff.
I'm so glad you're obsessed with her because I
know.
love her.
I went to follow her on Instagram, like immediately following, and I was like, had you follow her on Instagram?
No.
Oh, she's really interesting. Her fiance is like this, like, I would expect her to be this, like, hot,
Do
whatever.
you think that she looks like Melissa Benoist?
I don't know who that is.
She's Supergirl. She was on Glee.
Oh.
Maybe.
She was on
I'd have to
Glee,
see.
like the later years of Glee, and she married the one guy from Glee. I don't know. They weren't as popular,
Oh, I'd have to see that. I don't
but
know.
she's Supergirl now.
She's gorgeous. Jessica Roth is stunning. Like,
I mean, I
I
love
fucking
her.
love her.
Yeah.
But the thing that I actually thought was really interesting about this, like, the guys in this movie, like, typically in a horror movie, you have, like, everybody's hot, right? And, like, the hot people all die, whatever. But, like, this movie, like, no, the guys in this movie were not conventionally hot, like you would think in a movie like this kind. But for some reason, that made them more interesting to watch to me. Like, the fact that, like, you had, like, the different ethnicities. And, like, I thought that was kind of cool because I was invested in the character more than, like, thinking about, like, the hot guy.
And it all made sense, like all of them
Totally.
being friends
Totally.
together, and in this like science lab,
like a
and-
real college
Yes.
where you'd go and meet, like, ethnically
Yes.
diverse people. Yeah.
Well, I honestly don't think Jessica Roth. She's cute. I don't think she's like
No.
drop dead, like Hollywood hot.
But
I think
she's
charming.
charming.
I think she's charming and would be a hotter one at the college, but realistically looks like and even Danielle, like they both have interesting features that are unique to
Like,
them.
you could see them in a
They feel like
sorority.
they feel like very real people.
Yeah, totally.
They feel very.
I mean, I really love Jessica Roth. I love the girl that plays Danielle. I really loved all of the, like, nerdy kids. Just everybody in the cast, I think, was, like, really well cast, and everyone's very talented and up and coming, except Israel Bouchard. Fuck him forever, basically.
basically.
So why explain
why don't I like him?
explain to us and the
You don't
audience
know the controversy.
what your feelings are?
Don't. I find him attractive. Like, I went to seek him out afterward because I thought he's, like, attractive enough to, like, I want to know a little more about him.
He is, well, if you
you
dig a
should
little
look into
deeper
it.
and you know a little bit more about him, he tweeted, like, a bunch of homophobic and racist things.
Just
and
kidding.
And then kind
take
of
that
didn't
back.
down from them.
Really?
So, yeah.
What's
not
funny is I
really a
actually
fan.
thought that he was kind of gay. Like, there was, like, a gay... He reminded me... Did you guys see a movie called Eurotrip? Super random.
No.
Okay, he reminded me of, like, the lead kid in that movie where I was like, you're kind of gay, but, like, you're likable enough to play a straight guy.
Maybe that's
Isn't
why he
that
has those
DJ
feelings.
Quip,
Yeah, maybe.
Quip, DJ Quip, DJ Quip, DJ.
I don't know what
That was in Road Trip?
Yeah,
Probably.
DJ Qualls. DJ
Qualls.
Qualls.
Okay. If
He
nobody...
was
all...
he was the lead in Eurotrip, I think.
I think so.
Anyways.
I think he was in Road Trip. And like that was like
Yep.
yeah.
Okay.
The
Sorry.
really skinny guy?
Yes.
I think so.
Okay.
Did you guys, like, do you have a Euro trip thing? You both are like...
Oh, no. I just think that I may be one of the few people in my friend group that has seen Euro Trip, because I've definitely talked about it before.
I fucking love that movie. Like,
Because
I could watch
you're
that
too
movie
young.
over and
That's
over and over again. And it's like, you feel like you're in Europe. Like, it's this amazing film. Anyway, go ahead.
Oh.
Sorry.
It's an amazing film.
And there's a lot of penises. Yes, there are.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Natalie's
Natalie's
like,
gonna love
sold. She's like, can we watch it now? Fuck the Oscars.
I rented it on iTunes.
Purchased. Sorry, Hannah, we interrupted you.
That's okay. No, I mean, it's really just what, like, reiterating what everyone else has said and gushing about everybody in the cast other than Israel.
Do you feel like they were committed to casting him again because he was in the first and they're
Did
kind
he
of
do the
stuck with him?
tweets prior to the sequel?
Yes.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah, because it was all of this. The Twitter stuff kind of came out right after
The first one.
No, it was right after To All the Boys I Loved Before it came out,
Is
which
he in
is
that too?
a
He's
in
great
it.
film. I love that movie.
Well,
still haven't
Israel,
seen
I was
it.
going to say you're hot, but go fuck
You
off
still
now.
haven't seen that, huh?
My Martini score on this movie is a 2. There's, it was enjoyable. I didn't over the top love it. I still partially love the first one more. That will always be
Interesting. I have to watch it now.
That to me will always still have a special place in my heart. I
Does it
love that
tickle
movie.
you?
I'll send it to you right now. Honestly,
It's great.
Does it
it's so
tickle you?
great.
It doesn't tickle me, but I love it.
It's so great.
This is 2. This was an enjoyable new take on doing this movie of like, how are we going to repeat and do a sequel of this? And I thought this was a really original idea of how to carry on the story.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of curious what the third's going to be. And if it's more Danielle, I think that's also kind of really fun. I'd love to see that.
And I will say, as a first-time watcher of like the genre, like not the genre, but like this particular franchise, I loved it, and I definitely want to go back and watch the first one now.
You'll love it.
And I would also give it a 2. I would watch it again for sure, but it
Yeah.
wasn't my favorite
I'm
movie
a
of all
2.
time.
I'm a 2.
You're a 2?
Everything that you said, 2.
Hannah?
I would also say 2. I really hope they don't do a third one though.
Oh, really?
Like as
Would
much
you
as I
want Danielle to be third?
no.
Is this like a Sex and the City thing where you're like, they've done enough, let's stop?
Well, so
I just think it'd be
just,
so interesting with her because you could take it a whole nother level.
maybe,
of, like,
but I
ditzy,
think it's
dumb.
like law of diminishing returns at this point. Like
Yeah.
I loved the first
True.
one so much. The second one I really enjoyed, but I didn't love as
True.
much as the 1st. I really don't want them to like completely blow out the franchise by doing a third one.
I mean, it's hard because I was a little bit irritated with the idea that they're doing a second, and was like this isn't really a movie that I want to see redone again. And because it's because it's a Groundhog's Day thing, we relive this so many times with her. So I've seen this over and over and over again already in the one movie. So I think the fresh take that they had on it, I was like, okay, this kind of made it feel not as bad and not as stale as I thought it could have been.
Well, and one of the things I wanted to say is that, like, I was expecting from the first few scenes with the first kid at the beginning, I was like, oh God, we're going to have to watch the same scene over and over and over again for 2 hours. But I liked that they did enough of like a variation of things to lead you to different directions that's what made it interesting to me. Because if it was like Groundhog Day where you literally have to watch the same movie, like the same 4 minutes again for 2 hours,
Well,
like that would have
we'll
killed
have to
me.
warn you going back to the first movie. You are going to get a little bit of that.
More of that. Okay.
But it
It's
will
intentional.
It will give you an appreciation to like why she was so angry the first time walking out of that building.
Yeah.
Knowing the guy is going to pass out, knowing that the car alarm is going to go off, knowing that
I
you're
would tell you-
gay! And like it gives
I would
you-
tell you that, like, I
will
actually
give
got
you-
that. Like, all of those things made sense to me, and I had assumed
But
that they,
it's
like,
funny-
harkened back to the original or
It's
something.
funny each time she does it because she's just like, what? And then she's like, okay. And then she's like, plays
She gets
with
it, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like they conveyed enough of that context in this one to where,
Yeah.
like, I didn't need the first one. Like, it all made sense to me still,
Yeah.
having not seen it.
Yeah.
Well, cool. I think that was super fun.
Yeah, this episode's been like 12 hours long, so
I
thank you
know.
for paying attention.
Well, new idea of doing a double feature and really like spending some time to kind of
it's like
talk
watching
about-
a double feature. You'd spend 4 hours watching a double
exactly.
feature.
And we want to give a lot of light to horror movies and make sure that our audience knows that we're talking about these and can enjoy it as well. We have a lot of other movies that we need to watch and talk about too.
So, Tori, if you're still with us, we appreciate you listening to us 2 days to and from work.
and Hannah, oh my gosh, thank you so much
Yeah,
for
thank you.
It was so
joining
fun
us.
being on. Thank you for having
Good.
me.
We'll have you for another episode in the
Yep.
future.
We'll talk more
as long as
horror
you're okay.
movies anytime.
Perfect.
As always, we want to thank you for listening. For more information, please be sure to visit themartiniscale.com, where you can find links for all of our social channels in addition to show notes and more.
If you haven't already, please head over to Apple Podcast and rate and review us. It helps others discover the show.
We'll see you next time.
Cheers!